Thank you for joining us tonight. You're now with me, Shel Shaminato, for TVS Nightline. As always, we begin with the headlines. The view of the young Di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah in allowing Parliament to convene during the emergency period is proof that he prioritizes the supremacy of the Constitution, one of the 5 national principles of Malaysia. This was said by Sentubong Member of Parliament Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar.
Apa dia kata dalam yang disebut oleh Duli Tuanku adalah Seksyen 14. Dalam Seksyen 14 bracket 1 bracket B, Parlimen boleh dipanggil bersidang, boleh berhenti daripada bersidang, boleh dibubar. Dibubar oleh Tuanku semasa darurat ini dengan, ini yang penting, dengan nasihat Perdana Menteri. Ini selaras dengan perlembagaan yang ada.
Wan Junaidi said this during a special interview with TVS at his residence on Thursday. He also described His Majesty as a wise leader who protected his people by placing the parliamentary democratic system on a high level. Previously, Al-Sultan Abdullah stated his belief that Parliament could be called during the emergency period, effective on a date he deemed suitable, based on advice from the Prime Minister. On January 12, Al-Sultan Abdullah declared an emergency proclamation effective until August 1st as a proactive measure to curb the COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia.
With the availability of vaccines, it is possible for Parliament to reconvene. The general election may also proceed, but with strict standard operating procedures. That is the view of Deputy Chief Minister Tan Sri Dr. James Jemut Masing following the King's recent statement that Parliament may convene during the emergency. Masing said it is a return to democracy, adding that the public must also not forget why the emergency was declared in the first place. However, Masing cautioned that strict standard operating procedures must continue to be observed if Parliament was to convene and general elections were to be held. He added the Election Commission rulings must be strictly enforced during elections in order to prevent the spread and menace of COVID-19. 13,000 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine have safely arrived at Sibu Division Pharmacy at around 2:35 p.m. on Thursday. The vaccine doses were sent using Asia-Link cargo lorries and on land from Kuching, escorted by the Royal Malaysian Police.
Of that amount, 6,000 doses will be given to frontline workers in Sibu, Muka, Kapit and Sarikei divisions. According to Sibu Division Disaster Management Committee Coordinator Dr. Anwar Rapai, 3,576 doses of the vaccine will be given to frontline workers in Sibu Division starting on Friday. Meanwhile, Sibu Municipal Council Chairman Clarence Ding urged the community to get vaccinated for COVID-19 as it is the only solution to win the war against the pandemic.
Welcome back to the Nightline. Now, members of Parliament and Assemblymen in Sarawak will receive the first Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine in the first phase of the COVID-19 immunization program.
According to Garawat Gala, Deputy Speaker for the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly, this is because community leaders are included as frontliners based on the Health Ministry's policy.
Sebab polisi Kementerian Kesihatan ialah frontliners akan jadi kumpulan yang pertama untuk diberi vaksin dan ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri dan juga ahli Parlimen dikategorikan dalam kumpulan frontliners. Sebab mereka ni dalam menjalankan tugas memang selalu turun ke padang, banyak jumpa dengan rakyat dan juga dengan pegawai-pegawai kerajaan dan sebagainya.
He said this during an interview on Thursday. According to a statement, State Health Director Dr. Chin Zin Hing, Member of Parliament and Assemblymen can get their COVID-19 vaccine in the first week from February 27 until March 4, 2021 at the nearest vaccination centres. At the same time, Dr. Chin is grateful for the support from all community leaders to get vaccinated. For the record, Sarawak has a total of 82 assemblymen and 31 members of parliament.
On to the next update, as 13 journalists from the Federation of Sarawak Journalists Association will be among the first to join the first phase of Sarawak's vaccination program that will begin this Friday until March 3rd. This followed FSJA's request to the State Disaster Management Committee to consider journalists as part of the frontliners. Its president, Jacqueline Radoy David, said the media plays an important role in disseminating information from the government to the community, especially those in the field. Previously, the first batch of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine has safely arrived in the cargo area of Kuching International Airport on Wednesday. It is understood that media personnel who have not been chosen for vaccination will be included in the second or third phases following recommendations from SDMC earlier. Continuing with vaccine news, as the Ministry of Health said, different needles may be used during an injection procedure. This includes the vaccination process, as the needles serve different needs. Yesterday, some parties on social media alleged that Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin might have been given another type of substance. The color of the needles changed from blue to orange during the vaccination process. The Health Ministry in a statement said that when withdrawing fluid from the vial for COVID-19 vaccination, a bigger needle with blue color is needed to ensure smooth extraction. The ministry said that the needle color signifies bore size. The blue one used to aspirate liquid from the vial, while the smaller bore size needle, red or orange, is used for inoculation to ensure less pain and bruises. The ministry stressed that different needles were also required to prevent cross-contamination between patients. And now on to COVID-19 developments in Sarawak, as 290 new positive cases were detected on Thursday. Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC) stated that Sibu is still recording the highest daily total with 80 cases.
The cumulative total number of cases have increased to 8,869 cases. However, SDMC reported 248 recovered cases on Thursday. Meanwhile, 2 deaths were reported in Sibu, bringing the death toll to 78 people. A total of 267 persons under investigation were reported, with 5 still awaiting test results. A new cluster in the Samarahan district has emerged, dubbed the Hopin cluster. Meanwhile, 25 existing clusters are still active in Sarawak.
Following the next news, as Sabah today received 16,380 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine to kickstart the national COVID-19 immunization program in the state, which will be implemented in the near future.
Sabah Local Government and Housing Minister Datuk Masidi Manjun said 4 more batches of the vaccine would be delivered in stages until the 1st of April. He said the second batch of 9,360 doses will be delivered on March 4th, followed by the third batch of 24,550 doses on March 11th, and the fourth batch of 3,510 doses on March 18th. Masidi added that the Sabah State Health Department will determine vaccination process for frontliners under the immunization program. Masidi also said Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Haji Noor was scheduled to officiate the immunization program and received the vaccine on March 4th.
Meanwhile, Datuk Halimah Muhammad Sadiq also stated that the National Unity Ministry will rebrand Tabika Perpaduan and Taska Genius Perpaduan. The rebranding of the said centres is expected to be launched on March 8.
Its Minister Datuk Halimah Muhammad Sadiq said through PTPN, inclusive and comprehensive programs will be implemented based on the strategic plans set out in the National Unity Policy and National Unity Blueprint 2021 to 2030.
InsyaAllah akan dilancarkan pada bulan April atau Mei ini. Kita buka kepada maklum balas, ya, kepada akar umbi. Kita mencapai sasaran daripada masyarakat teramai untuk mendapatkan pandangan, teguran, nasihat, cadangan-cadangan yang bernas dan sebagainya. Kerana rakyat yang melalui proses ini, rakyat dapat berupaya untuk memberikan cadangan yang kadang-kadang lebih mantap untuk diletakkan dalam perancangan pelaksanaan bagi plan tindakan perpaduan.
Halimah said she would be chairing an implementation committee to ensure that the three documents, namely the National Unity Policy, National Unity Blueprint 2021 to 2030, and PTPN are effectively executed for the impact to be felt by all citizens at every level. The three main objectives of the National Unity Policy are to strengthen unity and national integration based on the Federal Constitution and the Rukun Negara, or the national principles, form a national identity with character, patriotism, the attitude of caring, tolerance, mutual respect and responsibility, as well as producing Malaysians who appreciate and foster unity.
The government has approved applications to adjust the grades of contract officers to UD41 to UD43 for medical officers, while contract dentists had their grades adjusted from UG41 to UG44.
Chief Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dato' Muhammad Shafiq Abdullah, said in accordance with the approval by the Public Services Department on January 21 and the Finance Ministry on February 24, the said grades will be offered through the e-Houseman system and e-Dentist starting Thursday. The grade adjustment will involve 21,408 medical officers and 697 dentists. At the same time, he informed JPA on February 4 and the Ministry of Finance on February 10 to approve applications to continue the service contracts of 585 medical officers, 1,071 dental officers, and 1,966 pharmaceutical officers. Officers will be notified of the offers through their respective emails.
Thank you for staying with me. Now, N22 Kedup Assemblyman has called on the community, specifically in Serian, to give their cooperation in curbing drugs in order to reach the Zero Drugs by 2025 mission from the grassroots level. Its representative, Martin Ben, said the government is earnest in mitigating drugs, having put forward the issue of drugs and substance misuse as a threat to safety through a program organised by relevant agencies.
Memang ini gejala penyalahgunaan dadah ni agak kita kena bendung. Ya, walaupun sedikit kenaikan, sedikit turunan, kita cuba sifarkan dari pihak kerajaan lah. Itu yang kita nak buat sebagai kerajaan. Dan dengan program-program, saya yakin dengan program-program yang telah dirancang dan akan dilaksana, kita harap bolehlah menyumbang kepada penurunan. Kalau tidak, kita tidak sifarkan.
Martin Ben explained that Serian is one of the hotspots for drug distribution, as announced by the Social Economic Committee of Indonesia and Malaysia, or SOSEC Malindo, at a media conference after officiating the 38th Sarawak Level National Anti-Drugs Day ceremony in Serian on Thursday.
Kita di Serian ini agak membimbangkan bila saya mendengar yang Serian adalah satu daripada pusat pengedaran ke negara jiran kita. Ini laporan dari SOSEC Malindo, kalau tak silap saya lah, Jawatankuasa SOSEC Malindo. Jadi kita tak tahu dari mana dadah ni, tapi ini adalah satu jalan untuk mereka menyeludup ke negara jiran kalau tak.
Now, TV Stars, a media conference on Sarawak's first reality TV show, will be aired live on TVS's Facebook tomorrow morning.
Okey, seperti semua yang telah sedia maklum, TV Stars merupakan satu program reality pertama di Sarawak yang berkonsepkan fully online. Jadi kita telah menerima seramai lebih daripada 200.
TV Stars producer Nur Baizura said 6 finalists will be showcased and the first season will focus on singing talent only.
Setelah ditapis, kita ada 6 finalis untuk bakat nyanyian dahulu. Untuk TV Stars ni, kita mencukil bakat nyanyian, lakonan dan pengacaraan. Tapi untuk musim pertama ni, kita fokuskan kepada bakat
TV Stars adalah salah satu rancangan reality TV di Sarawak yang pertama yang mengetengahkan bakat-bakat muda seperti lakonan, nyanyian dan juga pengacaraan. Nantikan pada esok hari sidang media TV Stars yang akan memperkenalkan barisan juri tetap, pengacara TV Stars dan juga artis terkemuka. Nantikan pada esok hari. Saya Ghazali Afindi dan juru kamera Awang Azmil melaporkan untuk TVS.
Small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, have been called on to implement digitalization values and adopt innovation in their businesses in order to remain resilient and competitive. The willingness to innovate should also go along with a solid understanding on how to cultivate the innovation into life. The Malaysia Investment and Development Authority said SMEs must be able to think creatively and embrace innovation into their business models. Its second Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Ahmad Khairuddin Abdul Rahim, said this is important in order to drive business growth and staying relevant in current norms. Ahmad Khairuddin said Malaysia's Industry 4WRD policy is an excellent guide as well as the incentives of Industry 4WRD readiness assessment. Its subsequent intervention fund enables domestic companies to assess their capabilities and readiness to adopt Industry 4.0 processes. It also enables them to understand their present capabilities and gaps and prepare feasible plans to move towards effective adoption of Industry 4.0. Ahmad Khairuddin added that other critical enablers are the skilled talent and upskilling programs to drive and sustain Malaysia's economic growth. Hence, the availability of a skilled workforce will support this transition of all economic sectors towards knowledge-intensive activities. According to Bank Negara Malaysia, approximately 40 parties have expressed interest in applying for the digital banking license. The deadline to submit applications for the digital banking license is June 30th this year.
The central bank said it will announce the granting of the licenses in the first quarter of next year. The bank will issue 5 licenses to qualified applicants. Axiata Group Berhad has agreed to partner with a company for its bid for a digital banking license. The telco company will be announcing the details soon. This was revealed by its newly appointed Chief Executive Officer Datuk Muhammad Izzaddin Idris. However, he did not reveal the name of the company.
And that concludes TVS Nightline for tonight. As always, thank you for tuning in to your local news tonight. Here with me, Shal Shaminato, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.